January 15, 2024. The story begins in a picturesque suburban neighborhood where 17-year-old Lily Adams, a bright and ambitious high school senior, dreams of attending a prestigious university. Despite her modest upbringing, Lily's intelligence and charisma make her the pride of her small town. Meanwhile, in the bustling city skyline, 42-year-old Jonathan Pierce, a charismatic and powerful CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, lives a life of influence and luxury. Lily's life takes a dramatic turn when her small art piece wins a statewide competition, catching the attention of Jonathan, who is a patron of the arts. During a gala held on February 10, 2024, Lily is invited to showcase her artwork, where she and Jonathan meet for the first time. Jonathan, charming smile, your work is exceptional, Lily. You must have poured your soul into it. Lily, nervously, thank you, Mr. Pierce. Art is everything to me. Jonathan, offering his business card, call me Jonathan. I'd love to discuss how we can help your talent reach the world. From that point, Jonathan begins mentoring Lily, offering her opportunities to network with influential figures. Their seemingly professional relationship soon develops into a questionable bond, raising eyebrows in Lily's close-knit community. Rumors of inappropriate conduct surface as Jonathan is frequently seen with Lily, sparking scandalous headlines by March 2024. Lily's parents, concerned about the nature of their interactions, confront her on April 2, 2024. Mrs. Adams, angry but worried, Lily, we've heard things. Why are you spending so much time with him? He's a grown man, for heaven's sake. Lily, defensive, he believes in me, Mom. He's the only one who thinks I can be someone important. Why can't you? Mr. Adams, it's not about belief, Lily. It's about what this looks like, and what it could do to you. Unbeknownst to her family, Lily is manipulated into keeping secrets about her time with Jonathan. As the months pass, whispers of exploitation and deceit grow louder, painting Jonathan as a predator. On May 18, 2024, Lily disappears after a heated argument with her parents about her connection to Jonathan, leaving behind a cryptic note, I need to be alone for a while. Don't look for me. When Lily's body is discovered on May 23, 2024, in a secluded area, the investigation reveals a web of lies, power plays, and manipulation. The last person seen with her, Jonathan Pierce. Detectives arriving at Jonathan's estate as the media swarms the scene, broadcasting the scandal nationwide. May 24, 2024. Detective Julia Monroe standing outside Jonathan Pierce's opulent mansion as the media frenzy continues. Inside, Jonathan appears calm but irritated as the police serve him a warrant for questioning. His lawyer, Stephen Grayson, reassures him. Jonathan, coldly, this is a witch hunt. I have nothing to hide. Detective Monroe, then you won't mind answering some questions. Lily Adams deserved better than secrets, Mr. Pierce. Meanwhile, in Lily's small hometown, the Adams family is overwhelmed by grief. Evelyn Adams clutches a framed photo of Lily, tears streaming down her face, while Robert sits silently in the corner, staring at the floor. Reporters camp outside their home, hungry for a comment. May 26, 2024. Flashbacks reveal Lily's final days. On May 17, 2024, Jonathan and Lily were seen arguing at a luxury hotel. Security footage shows Jonathan grabbing Lily's arm as she tries to leave. These images leak to the press, painting a damning picture of their relationship. The public begins to question the true nature of Jonathan's mentorship, with hashtags like #JusticeForLily trending on social media. Detective Monroe uncovers inconsistencies in Jonathan's alibi. His assistant claims he was in a meeting on May 18, but phone records suggest otherwise. Jonathan grows defensive during questioning. Detective Monroe, your assistant says you were at a meeting. Your phone says otherwise. Care to explain? Jonathan, I don't owe you explanations for my whereabouts. Detective Monroe, you do when a 17-year-old girl is dead. May 28, 2024. Monroe interviews Lily's friends, who share troubling stories about her growing anxiety. One friend, Megan, recalls a chilling conversation. Megan, tearfully, she said she felt trapped, like she couldn't escape him. I should have done something. Meanwhile, Evelyn discovers a sketchpad hidden in Lily's room. Among the pages of art, she finds disturbing drawings of a shadowy figure looming over Lily, accompanied by phrases like, "He's everywhere," and "No way out." Evelyn hands the sketchpad to the police, who see it as evidence of Jonathan's psychological control. A second autopsy report reveals that Lily had a head injury inconsistent with the assumed cause of death, raising questions about what really happened on May 18, 2024. Detective Monroe vows to uncover the truth, as Jonathan's facade begins to crumble under mounting scrutiny. May 29, 2024. Detective Julia Monroe poring over the new autopsy findings. The report suggests that Lily sustained a blunt force injury to the head before her death, contradicting initial assumptions of self-harm. This discovery raises the stakes, shifting the investigation toward potential foul play. May 30, 2024. Jonathan Pierce faces intense public backlash. His company's board of directors suspends him pending the outcome of the investigation, and sponsors begin to pull support. In a televised statement, Jonathan denies any involvement in Lily's death. Jonathan, composed but defiant, "These accusations are baseless. I only ever sought to mentor Lily and help her achieve her dreams. I will prove my innocence." Meanwhile, the Adams family attends a memorial service for Lily, surrounded by supportive friends and neighbors. Evelyn gives a heartfelt eulogy, but her voice falters when she speaks of Lily's struggles. Evelyn, tearfully, "My Lily had so much light in her, but someone took that away. She deserved to shine, not to be silenced." 1st 2024. Detective Monroe uncovers a key piece of evidence. A hotel employee comes forward, claiming to have seen Jonathan and Lily in a heated argument on May 17, 2024. The employee describes Jonathan pushing Lily against a wall and overhearing Lily say, "You're ruining my life." In a flashback to May 18, 2024, more details about Lily's final hours are revealed. Surveillance footage from a gas station shows her running barefoot toward a parked car, looking panicked. The car is traced to Jonathan's personal driver, who reluctantly admits under questioning. Driver, nervously, "She was upset. I tried to calm her down, but Mr. Pierce insisted I take her back to the hotel." Date, June 2, 2024. As Detective Monroe connects the dots, she discovers a series of threatening text messages from Jonathan to Lily in the days leading up to her death. One chilling text reads, "You can't just walk away from this. You owe me." Simultaneously, a former assistant of Jonathan's, Anna, steps forward with allegations of manipulation and intimidation, painting a darker picture of his character. Anna, in an interview, "He knows how to control people. He makes you think you need him, until you can't breathe without his approval." June 3, 2024. With Detective Monroe obtaining a warrant to search Jonathan's private residence. There, she finds a journal belonging to Lily, hidden in a locked drawer of his office. The final entry reads, "I can't escape. He owns me." The discovery solidifies Jonathan as the primary suspect, but Monroe senses there's more to the story, a darker truth that has yet to surface. Closes with Jonathan's arrest, but his ominous words to Monroe leave the audience in suspense. Jonathan, smirking as he's handcuffed, "You think you've got it all figured out. You have no idea what's coming." June 4, 2024. Jonathan Pierce in police custody, maintaining his innocence. His lawyer, Stephen Grayson, demands his immediate release, citing a lack of direct evidence linking Jonathan to Lily's death. Despite the pressure, Detective Julia Monroe remains resolute, believing the journal entry and the threatening messages are enough to hold him for further questioning. Stephen Grayson, confidently, "A few texts and a tragic diary aren't proof of murder, Detective." Monroe, coldly, "They're proof of a pattern, Mr. Grayson. And patterns tell stories." June 5, 2024. The investigation takes a darker turn when forensic experts recover fingerprints matching Jonathan's on a piece of Lily's broken jewelry found at the crime scene. A locket, engraved with "Dream Big," was a gift from her mother, and its destruction adds an emotional weight to the evidence. Evelyn Adams, sobbing, "She never took that locket off, not unless someone forced her to." Monroe begins to interview Jonathan's inner circle, uncovering a history of questionable relationships with young women. Former employees and business associates describe a man who carefully curated his public persona while wielding private control over those he deemed vulnerable. June 7, 2024. A bombshell drops when Megan, Lily's best friend, finds and shares a series of emails between Lily and Jonathan from months before her death. These emails reveal that Jonathan had been financially supporting Lily's dream of attending art school but had begun demanding favors in return. The tone of the emails grows more threatening as Lily tries to distance herself. Email from Jonathan, dated May 10, 2024, after everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me. Don't forget, I can make or break you. Monroe grows increasingly convinced that Lily was attempting to sever ties with Jonathan, a decision that may have led to her murder. June 8, 2024. The story takes a shocking twist when Monroe interviews a hotel maid who worked the night of Lily's disappearance. The maid claims she heard a loud argument in Jonathan's suite and saw him leaving hurriedly around midnight. However, the maid also mentioned seeing a mysterious third person, a woman, exiting the room shortly after Jonathan. This revelation complicates the case. Monroe, you're saying someone else was there? Maid, yes. A woman. Blonde, in a red dress. I didn't recognize her, but she seemed angry. June 10, 2024. Monroe reviews security footage from the hotel and identifies the woman, Cassandra Blake, Jonathan's estranged ex-wife. Cassandra had previously accused Jonathan of abuse during their divorce proceedings but had been silenced by a hefty settlement. Monroe tracks her down for questioning. Cassandra Blake's off-the-record conversation with Detective Julia Monroe. Sitting in a dimly lit room, Cassandra recounts chilling details about Jonathan's manipulative and abusive nature during their marriage. She describes his need for control, his charm that masked darker intentions, and how he used his power to silence her. Cassandra, voice shaking, Jonathan is a master manipulator. He makes you believe you're special, that you owe him everything. But when you don't comply, he'll destroy you. Monroe, why were you at the hotel the night Lily disappeared? Cassandra, I went to confront him. I'd heard rumors about him and that girl. I thought, maybe I could stop him this time. Cassandra admits to arguing with Jonathan that night but claims she left before things escalated. However, she reveals something startling. Jonathan had a private vault in his mansion where he kept incriminating material on those he wanted to control. June 12, 2024. Detective Monroe secures a second warrant to search Jonathan's mansion. With the help of forensic experts, they discover the hidden vault. Inside, they find a trove of compromising documents, videos, and personal items belonging to multiple women, including Lily. Among the evidence is a USB drive containing a recording of an argument between Jonathan and Lily on May 17, 2024. In the recording, Lily is heard pleading with Jonathan. Lily, desperately, I can't do this anymore. You've taken everything from me. Jonathan, coldly, you don't get to walk away. I made you who you are. The recording abruptly ends, but it's clear Lily was terrified of him. June 13, 2024. The case takes another turn when Cassandra provides an alibi for the time of Lily's death. Security footage confirms she was at a nearby cafe after leaving the hotel. This clears her of suspicion but adds pressure to prove Jonathan's guilt. Meanwhile, the media frenzy intensifies as the vault's contents leak to the press. Multiple women come forward with allegations against Jonathan, painting a damning picture of his predatory behavior. June 14, 2024. Monroe's investigation uncovers one final piece of evidence. Tire tracks near the crime scene match the model of Jonathan's private vehicle. When confronted with this during interrogation, Jonathan's calm demeanor finally cracks. Monroe, slamming a folder on the table, we have your car at the scene. We have your fingerprints on her locket. We have her voice, Jonathan. It's over. Jonathan, angrily, you think you're so clever, don't you? Do you have any idea how many people wanted her gone? You're looking in the wrong place. Jonathan's outburst raises new questions. Was someone else involved in Lily's death, or is this another of his manipulative tactics? June 16, 2024. Detective Julia Monroe dives into the implications of Lily's chilling journal entry. If something happens to me, it wasn't just him. This cryptic message raises the possibility of an accomplice in her death. Monroe revisits Lily's close friends and family, hoping to identify anyone who might have had a motive or involvement. During an interview with Megan, Lily's best friend, Monroe uncovers a significant lead. Megan hesitates before revealing that Lily had confided in her about a woman who had been watching her. Megan, anxiously, she said this woman kept showing up, at her school, at the gallery, even near our favorite cafe. Lily thought she was spying for Jonathan. June 17, 2024. Monroe reviews surveillance footage from the locations Megan mentioned. A blonde woman matching Cassandra Blake's description is seen in multiple recordings, but Cassandra has already provided an alibi for Lily's death. Monroe's instincts tell her the woman isn't Cassandra but someone trying to impersonate her. Further investigation reveals the woman's identity: Rebecca Kane, Jonathan's longtime executive assistant and rumored confidant. Rebecca has worked closely with Jonathan for over a decade and has been fiercely loyal to him. Monroe questions Rebecca, but she denies any involvement. Rebecca, calmly, "I handle his business, detective, not his personal life. Whatever he did with that girl, I wasn't part of it." Monroe notices Rebecca's evasive behavior and begins digging into her background, uncovering suspicious financial transactions from Jonathan's personal accounts to Rebecca over the years. June 18, 2024. A breakthrough comes when Monroe discovers Rebecca's fingerprints on an envelope containing threatening letters sent to Lily weeks before her death. One letter reads, "Stay in your lane, or you'll regret it." Monroe confronts Rebecca with the evidence, and her icy facade begins to crack. "Monroe, you wrote these, didn't you? You couldn't stand Lily, could you? She threatened everything you built with him." Rebecca, snapping, she didn't belong in his world. She was just a silly little girl who didn't know what she was doing. Rebecca confesses to sending the letters but denies killing Lily. She claims Jonathan was becoming reckless and she was only trying to scare Lily away to protect his reputation and her own position of power. June 19, 2024. Monroe pieces together a timeline of events from May 17 to 18, 2024. On the night of Lily's death, Rebecca was seen leaving Jonathan's mansion shortly before his car was spotted near the crime scene. When confronted with this, Rebecca admits she saw Lily that night but insists she left before anything happened. Rebecca, desperate, "Yes, I was there, but I didn't touch her. Jonathan was the one who couldn't let her go." June 20, 2024. Monroe obtains a search warrant for Rebecca's home, uncovering a hidden stash of documents and personal items belonging to Lily. Among them is a scarf with blood stains matching Lily's DNA. This discovery implicates Rebecca further and casts doubt on her claim that she wasn't involved in Lily's death. June 21, 2024. Rebecca's arrested. As she's led out in handcuffs, she screams at Monroe. "Rebecca, you think this is over? You'll never understand what really happened. He'll get away with it, he always does." Monroe, now convinced that Jonathan orchestrated the entire situation with Rebecca as a willing accomplice, faces mounting pressure to build an airtight case against them both. The lingering question remains: who ultimately delivered the fatal blow, and why? June 22, 2024. Detective Julia Monroe intensifies her efforts to connect the dots between Jonathan Pierce, Rebecca Kane, and Lily's tragic death. With Rebecca in custody, Monroe re-examines the timeline and evidence, hoping to extract the truth from the lies. Rebecca's lawyer pushes for a deal, offering her full cooperation in exchange for a reduced sentence. Under pressure, Rebecca makes a shocking revelation: she witnessed Jonathan and Lily's final confrontation. According to Rebecca, the argument turned physical. Rebecca, trembling, "He lost control. She fell, hit her head. It wasn't supposed to happen. I panicked and helped him cover it up." Monroe, "You're saying it was an accident? Or are you just protecting him again?" Rebecca's confession creates more questions than answers. She claims Jonathan manipulated her into helping him dispose of evidence and shift suspicion away from himself. However, her motive for loyalty remains unclear. June 23, 2024. Monroe confronts Jonathan with Rebecca's confession. Instead of denying her claims, Jonathan turns the interrogation into a mind game. Jonathan, smirking, "Rebecca would say anything to save herself. She's always been devoted, but you should ask yourself, how far would she go for me?" Monroe begins to suspect that Jonathan is using Rebecca as a scapegoat. The evidence against her is damning, but the power dynamics between them suggest she may have acted under coercion. June 24, 2024. New forensic evidence emerges. Traces of Jonathan's DNA are found under Lily's fingernails, indicating a struggle. Combined with Rebecca's confession, this strengthens the case against Jonathan. However, Monroe feels the need to uncover his full network of enablers and collaborators to ensure justice for Lily. June 25, 2024. Monroe interviews Cassandra Blake again, this time revealing Rebecca's involvement. Cassandra's reaction is both surprised and bitter. Cassandra, angrily, of course, it was Rebecca. She'd do anything for him. She's been obsessed with Jonathan for years. But don't let her fool you, he's the real monster here. Cassandra reveals one final piece of crucial information. Jonathan had previously silenced another young woman, an aspiring model, who had accused him of misconduct. The model vanished under mysterious circumstances, and Jonathan's legal team paid a significant settlement to her family. June 26, 2024. With mounting evidence and testimonies, Monroe brings the case to the district attorney's office. They agree to charge Jonathan with second-degree murder and Rebecca with conspiracy and evidence tampering. However, Jonathan's high-powered legal team begins spinning the narrative that he is the victim of a vendetta, while Rebecca is painted as the jealous assistant who acted alone. June 27, 2024. Jonathan out on bail, hosting a press conference where he manipulates public opinion. His charm and calculated words create doubt about his guilt. Jonathan, confidently, I've been targeted because of my success. The truth will come out, and I will be vindicated. Meanwhile, Monroe watches the press conference on TV, her frustration palpable. She vows to uncover every hidden detail to bring justice for Lily. Flashback, Lily's tearful face as she says to Jonathan, "You can't control me forever." Detective Julia Monroe growing increasingly frustrated with the case's complexity. Jonathan Pierce's public relations team works tirelessly to shift public perception in his favor, portraying him as a victim of false accusations and Rebecca as a deranged accomplice. Meanwhile, Rebecca's legal team attempts to shift the blame entirely onto Jonathan. Monroe, to her team, "We're dealing with two liars trying to save themselves. The question is, which one is closer to the truth, or are they both guilty?" Monroe turns to Lily's journal for answers. A deeper analysis reveals more cryptic notes, including a reference to the retreat, a secluded property Jonathan frequently used for private meetings. This property was never disclosed during the initial investigation. June 29, 2024. Monroe obtains a warrant to search the retreat. During the search, her team discovers burned fragments of documents in a fire pit. Forensic analysis identifies remnants of a signed non-disclosure agreement, NDA, bearing Lily's name and Jonathan's signature, dated May 15, 2024. This suggests Jonathan was attempting to silence Lily shortly before her death. Further digging uncovers Lily's missing sketchbook hidden in a locked drawer. The drawings depict disturbing imagery, a shadowy figure looming over a girl, hands reaching out as if to control her. One sketch is captioned, "No Escape." June 30, 2024. A surprise witness comes forward, Natalie, a former assistant of Jonathan's who had been silent out of fear. She reveals that Rebecca was not only complicit but also deeply infatuated with Jonathan, often doing his bidding without question. Natalie, Rebecca wanted to be indispensable to him. She'd do anything to stay in his good graces, even if it meant hurting someone else. Natalie also recalls seeing Jonathan and Lily together at the retreat a week before Lily's death, arguing about the NDA. July 1, 2024. Monroe confronts Rebecca with the new evidence. Backed into a corner, Rebecca finally breaks down and confesses that she was at the retreat the night Lily died. However, she claims Jonathan orchestrated the entire situation. Rebecca, sobbing, "He told me to bring her there. He said we were going to fix things. But when she resisted, he snapped. I didn't kill her, I just cleaned up his mess." Monroe now has enough evidence to charge Jonathan with premeditated murder, but Rebecca's involvement complicates the narrative. July 2, 2024. The Epworth Court. As she reviews the evidence, a disturbing thought lingers: how many others has Jonathan silenced? These with Monroe visiting Lily's grave, vowing to see the case through to the end. Monroe, whispering, "I won't let him get away with this." A final flashback shows Lily in the moments before her death, standing in the dimly lit room at the retreat, whispering to herself, "I deserve to be free." The trial of Jonathan Pierce beginning amidst intense media scrutiny. Protesters gather outside the courthouse, divided between those who believe in Jonathan's innocence and those seeking justice for Lily Adams. Detective Julia Monroe takes the stand to present the evidence her team has painstakingly gathered. Prosecutor, Detective Monroe, can you confirm whether the defendant's DNA was found under the victim's fingernails? Monroe, yes. It matches a physical altercation between the two before her death. As the prosecution lays out the timeline of events, Jonathan's legal team aggressively counters, painting Lily as a troubled teenager who sought to extort Jonathan for money and fame. Rebecca Kane, now testifying as part of her plea deal, provides damning details about the night of Lily's death. Rebecca, tearfully, "Jonathan ordered me to bring Lily to the retreat. He said it was to resolve things, but when she refused to sign the NDA, he lost control. He pushed her." Defense attorney, "So you're saying you were just a bystander, Ms. Kane? That you had nothing to gain from this arrangement?" Rebecca, "I was scared of him. He had control over all of us." July 5, 2024. The defense introduces their counter-narrative, producing witnesses who claim Jonathan was at home during the time of Lily's death. However, this alibi is dismantled when cell phone records place Jonathan near the retreat that night. Meanwhile, Monroe's team uncovers a chilling detail. Jonathan had previously been investigated in another young woman's disappearance years ago, but the case was dropped due to lack of evidence. This revelation paints a pattern of behavior that the prosecution uses to argue premeditation. July 7, 2024. The trial reaches a boiling point when Natalie, the former assistant, testifies about Jonathan's manipulative tactics. "Natalie, he made you feel special, but it was all a game to him. If you crossed him, he'd ruin you." Jonathan, visibly shaken for the first time, whispers to his lawyer as the courtroom buzzes. July 9, 2024. The prosecution presents their final evidence, Lily's journal and the audio recording recovered from the vault. The courtroom is silent as Lily's voice echoes. "Lily, from the recording, you've taken everything from me. I'm not afraid of you anymore." Jonathan, coldly, "You should be." The defense argues that the recording is incomplete and lacks context, but the damage is done. July 10, 2024. In a shocking twist, Jonathan decides to take the stand, confident he can sway the jury. He portrays himself as a philanthropist who tried to mentor Lily but was misunderstood. Jonathan, calmly, "I cared for Lily. She was talented but troubled. I only wanted to help her, and now my kindness is being used against me." The prosecution tears into his testimony, highlighting the inconsistencies in his timeline and the damning evidence linking him to the crime. July 12, 2024. As closing arguments are made, the prosecution emphasizes the power imbalance between Jonathan and Lily, painting him as a predator who exploited his position. The defense counters by attacking Rebecca's credibility and accusing her of being the true culprit. Outside the courthouse, Lily's grieving mother, Evelyn Adams, addresses the media. Evelyn, tearfully, "All I want is justice for my daughter. She didn't deserve this." Inside her car, Monroe reflects on the case, replaying every detail in her mind. The jury deliberations entering their second day. Tensions are high as both the prosecution and defense await the verdict. Outside the courthouse, protests escalate, with chants demanding justice for Lily echoing through the streets. Inside, Detective Julia Monroe reviews the case one last time, wondering if there's anything she might have overlooked. Date, July 14, 2024. The jury reaches a verdict. The courtroom is packed as the foreperson stands to deliver the decision. Foreperson, on the charge of second-degree murder, we find the defendant, Jonathan Pierce, guilty. Gasps fill the room as Jonathan's confident demeanor cracks. Rebecca Kane, who received a plea deal for conspiracy and evidence tampering, looks visibly relieved that her sentence will be lighter. Monroe, to her colleague, "It's not perfect, but it's a step toward justice." Prosecutor, "He'll appeal. Men like him always do. But for now, he's where he belongs." July 15, 2024. The aftermath of the trial begins to unfold. Jonathan's empire crumbles as his board of directors announces his removal as CEO of Pierce Enterprises. Multiple victims come forward, encouraged by Lily's case, to share their stories of manipulation and abuse. Evelyn Adams, Lily's mother, holds a press conference to thank the investigators and prosecutors for their dedication. However, she expresses bittersweet emotions. Evelyn, "Justice for Lily doesn't bring her back. But I hope this prevents another family from suffering the way we have." July 16, 2024. Detective Monroe receives a message from Natalie, the former assistant, who hands over a USB drive Jonathan had hidden. The drive contains private recordings of other victims, providing further evidence of his pattern of abuse. Monroe ensures this information is forwarded to federal authorities, hinting at broader charges against Jonathan. July 18, 2024. Rebecca Cain's sentencing hearing takes place. She receives a reduced sentence of 10 years in prison with the possibility of parole after 5 for her cooperation. As she's escorted out of the courtroom, she makes one final statement. Rebecca, I loved him once, but I see now he used me. I hope Lily's family finds peace. July 20, 2024. Roe visiting Lily's grave, leaving a single white lily as a gesture of closure. In a voiceover, she reflects on the case. Monroe, voiceover, Lily's story wasn't just about her. It was about power, manipulation, and the price of silence. She deserved better. They all did. In memory of Lily Adams and the countless victims whose voices were silenced.